Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how to pick a good spot for you to land in scrims. And there's a lot of things you need to consider before you choose your POI, and that is how many mats are located inside, how dense is your loot, is there any guaranteed shield, how is your positioning in terms of the surrounding area, is there going to be a lot of people contesting, how is your rotation out of your POI, and is there any guaranteed mobility surrounding you. So we're going to kind of take those points I talked about and apply them to a few different POIs across the map. And the first one we're going to look at is Dusty Divots, and a little bit of Dusty Diner as well. But one of the biggest things about Dusty Divot that's great is the mats. You have plenty of wood, you also have plenty of metal, and if you can rotate into Dusty Diner, there is also a good amount of brick in there as well. And the loot here is not too bad. There's actually a good amount of chest spawns and a good chunk of floor loot, so you should be able to get shotguns and ARs, SMGs, whatever you need. And as well, there is mushrooms spread out across the divot. So for the most part, you should be able to fill up on shield early game, which is pretty crucial. However, it most likely will be contested since this is a very good place to land. And if you won't be contested in here, you'll definitely most likely have a team land here. So you have to consider that, but you also have to consider your positioning. Dusty Divot is inside of a canyon, so any team on the surrounding ledges has easy shots on you if you are inside of here, as long as you're not under the cover of a tree. But you also have to think about the rotations that other POIs can make in towards you, considering that Salty Springs and Retail Row are pretty close, and they can rotate early-ish game on you. So you have to be careful about that. But it does have great perks about positioning on the map. Because it is in the center of the map, most of the time you'll get circle. So making a rotation out to any of the circles will be super easy. As well, there's no mobility except for a few quad bikes up here. But for the most part, you're not going to need that kind of mobility because the circle will be so close to you that you won't have to move too far. So the next area we're going to talk about is Lucky Landing. And the mat count here is alright. You have plenty of brick and plenty of wood. And there's also some more brick stored back here, as well as a good amount of brick back there along with some wood. So mat count, your wood and brick should be alright, but it is lacking metal other than a few cars and a bus spread out through the city. However, the loot here is pretty solid as there's tons of chests in each of the houses along with floor loot, so you should have no problem getting kitted out. Shield, there isn't any shield mushrooms around here, so you're kind of hoping that you get a good amount of minis or half pots from the chests and such. Positioning wise, you're pretty set as most of the time you're not going to get rotated in on, as usually the zone ends up being north of Lucky Landing. But that's also a problem for rotating out because the only real option is either to walk or if you're lucky enough to get a rift. If you can see all the way over there in the desert, there's a rift. And those aren't 100% spawn rates. So if you don't get one, you might end up getting screwed over in terms of not being able to farm up or loot up enough early game. But contention isn't really too much of a problem here, considering that a lot of times you're not going to get zone, so a lot of people don't like to land here. But it is a good spot, and if you're lucky enough, you can rotate out to somewhere like factories or flush, and being able to get a good amount of leftover metal from either of those POIs. So not every landing spot has to be perfect. Looking at a place like Snobby, you're not going to be able to get max of all mats, right? And a lot of places you're not going to be able to, but there's plenty of wood and there's plenty of brick. However, if you can rotate out to somewhere that has metal, and from Snobby a great place to rotate is to this Evil Villains base right here, as all the walls inside are mostly metal. So you'll be able to farm up 999 metal inside if you spend enough time. And the great thing about Snobby is it kind of fills a lot of the other criteria that we have. You know, you have a good amount of mats, you have good rotation out, considering you have rifts, you have these four wheelers, and you also have ATKs. So if it fits enough of the criteria, or if it fits your own personal criteria, then choose that spot. You don't have to base it all. It doesn't have to have every single check mark, but if it fills what you need in a spot and it fills what is required to do well in a game, then the landing spot should be more perfect for you. And that is the end of today's video. Just want to thank you guys all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.